In a world that is very concerned about energy consumption, we need to empower ourselves with high-end intelligent products that can manage this power in our server rooms. That is why my guest today is going to be the new PDU line of products from Aten, the PG9 series. I'm Sorin Oprescu and welcome to this YouTube channel. The PG line consists of three subcategories: PG95, PG96 and PG98. Each of those have two models inside, 230 and 330. 230 means I have 16 amps, and 330 it's a more powerful equipment, I have 32 amps. So let's recap. We have 95 series, which is these first two with 16 amp and 32 amps. These are metered PDUs. So these two equipment will tell me on every single port what is the current consumption, the volts, the amps and the wattage. Next series, PG96, is a switched PDU, which means I can remotely turn off and on any individual power socket that I see. Last but not least, PG98 is a combination of both of them. These two equipment will show me both the consumption on every single port and give me the opportunity to turn them on or off remotely. On YouTube, you can find this video, link in the description, which is a presentation short video made by our talented PR people. It's a little bit impersonal, and because you're here, it means you want a personal touch. You want to know how it is to live with this equipment, how it is to unbox it, how it is to install it in the server room, to configure it, and then to harness the results of your work. So, if you would like this personal experience, stay around. We will start with the unboxing of the product. So this is it, this is the product. So, what is inside the box? Well, you have the rack mounting kit, you have the manual, you have the colored label that you're going to place it here to be easier for you to know which PDU is going to power what type of equipment that you have, and the serial cable with the RJ45 and DB9 connector. Oh, and obviously the product. We are using today the PG98330G, which is the most badass product that we have right now in our portfolio. Metered, switched, and 32 amps. What ports and sockets do we have on this product? Well, I mentioned there are 3 banks with 10 ports each. Well, actually, I was a little bit incorrect, because you see we have actually 6 banks with 5 ports each. This is the first bank where we have 4 C13, C14 ports and 1 C19, C20. And this one have allocated a circuit breaker, which means if we have a problem on any of these servers and the problem tends to spread like a short circuit or an overload, then the hydraulic magnetic breaker, circuit breaker, will disconnect and it will prevent the error to go on the entire server lines that are covered by this product. So what we have here is 10 ports divided in 2 groups by 5 that have individual circuit breakers, hydraulic magnetic, as I told you, that can prevent the error to spread to other computers if such error occur. Then we have the second bank, and again the most correct term would be that we have 2 banks by 5, and then we have another 2 independent circuit breaker for each group of 5. Then we move to the center of the product where we find a small LCD and a small console that also have connector ports. Next to the LCD you also have navigation buttons, so you can enter the menu of the LCD and you can see the state of the alarms, if any. You can see the state of the network, what is for instance the IP address of the product, also the state of the sensors, again if you have it installed or if they have an alarm. Next you have the LAN ports. You have 2 of them. You can either connect this product into separate networks or you can cascade up to 64 PDUs. The cascading is very easy to explain. You enter from the network to the first PDU like this, and then from this first PDU with a short cable to the second PDU, and then to the third PDU, and so on and so forth, until you reach the maximum of 64 product cascading. Last of the RJ45 ports that you're seeing is this one. It's for sensors. You can cascade up to 8 sensors that will show you the environment that this product is going to be put in, from the humidity to differentiated pressure, from the temperature. You also have a USB port. This is to connect a wireless dongle so that this product can be accessible via wireless. Also, in later software revisions of this product, you will be able to connect a 4G dongle. So if this PDU is connected in a remote area, you can still be able to access it. The last part of the product is the last 10 ports, also divided into groups by 5, and each group of 5 have its individual hydraulic magnetic circuit breaker. Here and here. There are two cool things you can do with our product. First of all, the LCD, if it becomes broken, you can replace it while the product is still working. You don't have to shut down the product and hence your entire network farm just because the LCD went broke. You need a screwdriver. That's it. I can remove this part and replace it with a new one while the product is still working. It's also easier now that it's off to put the colored label. And voila, as the French would say, we have completely replaced our LCD and we managed to add the colored labels. There are multiple colors to choose from. Obviously we go with the red, but you can go with the yellow, green, blue or purple. The other cool thing that you can do with the product is that you can rotate by 90 degrees the cable that powers the device. That is because when you install this PDU in the server in a vertical position, you don't know if you have enough room left to the cable to naturally go out of the product. However, if you just barely fit the product into your rack, then you need to rotate by 90 degrees, so the cable will not be forced to be bent in unnatural angles. Let's turn by 90 degrees the cable entering our product. That's it, we turn by 90 degrees the power cable that comes and power our equipment. Speaking about the power, don't forget, this is an IAC 309 32 amp socket. So please make sure that your electrical circuit is prepared to accept this kind of connector. Now it's time to take this equipment to the server room, install its rack kit and then install it into the rack. Equipment is a little bit big and heavy and cumbersome, so I'm going to ask Matej, my colleague, to help me carry to the server room and help me install it in the rack. Matej? This PDU is a 0U PDU, which means when we install it in the rack, it does not occupy valuable space in the front. 0U means we occupied 0U space in the front. After installing the rack kit, we need to secure the screws to the rack chassis. Now we need to plug our PDU to the electric circuit of the building. Remember, we have a 32 amp IAC 309 circuit that's waiting for us, like this. Because of the new CPU inside, the whole PDU starts in less than 10 seconds. This is an intelligent PDU. We can benefit from controlling it from the network and also with the Echo DC software. This is the LCD. From here I can find out if I have alarms, and obviously I have because it's blinking red, so I can press this one and I will find out, reading this alarm, that I have installed a 3-phase PDU, which is this one, on a just 1-phase electric circuit. This is still working, so this product will work fine in a 1-phase, but obviously you will not be able to draw the most power that you can from the network. One other thing that's very important for me is to find out which is the IP address that I got from my router. So I will navigate to the network. I'll press OK. I have IP. I press OK, and I found out about my IP, which is 10.0.42.101. There are other interesting things that you can do from the LCD. For instance, now we're looking correctly at the LCD. However, if this PDU would be reversed, would be at 180 degrees, I would like to go to settings here, and I would like to rotate LCD, and I would like to rotate by 0 degrees, which means to revert it to normal position. And if I do this, as you can see, the LCD is now 180 degrees turned. Now that we went to the server room and found out what is the IP address, we can connect to the PDU. So we open the browser and now we type the IP address. And this is the menu. The original credentials are administrator with lower letters and password, the word password, in lower letters. Being the first time we log into the equipment, it is necessary to change the default password. And now let's enter the equipment with the new password. So this is the interface of our PDU. We have on the left side all our 30 ports. We have in the middle an overview of the equipment, what it does. If we have sensors installed, they will appear here in the sensor part. Because we have a PDU that is both metered and switched, it means it will read the data, the consumption data of each socket individually, and also it will give us the possibility to turn that socket on and off. Now, if you remember correctly, we installed our 4 power transmitters in bank number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see if we see something on bank 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we go to outlet status. The number 1 is actually C19, and we have only used C13s, so we have to look at number 2, and we can see at number 2 that the current, the amps, would vary a little bit because that product does not consume that much. So now I see that there is actually something on outlet number 2. Same goes for outlet number 3, 4, and number 5. If you're unsure, here's another way how you can test either if you have equipment or not on that outlet. Look at power dissipation. If it's something different than 0, then you have something that's consuming power on that socket. Let's turn on and off our sockets. So let's start with number 2. So let's turn it on. And as you can see, because I have 4 transmitters, one of the transmitters actually went offline because I turned power in the server room. How convenient is that? I'm here, I can navigate and do modifications in the server room. Now, if we go to the configuration, we have more option on how to turn off the power and turn on the power. Now, what do I mean by that? For instance, as a very simple way on socket number 2, which shut down one of our displays, we have the method of kill the power when I want to shut down. However, when I want to re-put the power back, if it is a server that have Wake on LAN enabled, the simple fact that I put power behind the server doesn't mean that the server will start. The server will still stay shut down. It will be aware because of its Wake on LAN capabilities, but it will not start. So if instead of my transmitter, I will have a server, definitely I want to move this to Wake on LAN. So when I will send command to open the server, to actually put the power behind the server, also I need to send a magic packet. I need to know the MAC address of the server. So I can say the server, look, now you have power behind you, but here's the message, please start now. So Wake on LAN is this message, please start now. We also have here in the upper part, we have priority. Bank priority means that if you have high consumers, if some of your servers are high consumers and it exceeds the total capacity of the product, our product, our PDU, can shut down some of the outlets in order to preserve energy for the servers that most need it. And this is your chance to tell the PDU which of your outlets are very important and should not be killed power and which are not. And the priority is very simple. The servers that you put at the back don't have any priority. This would be shut down first. Okay, so after the Wake on LAN, we have another cool feature that is new to this range of product, the PG. And it's called auto ping, so you can find it here. So let's say that we have a device, we have an IP camera, and we know that this IP camera sometimes blocks itself. Or maybe we have an old wireless router, sometimes this old wireless router block themselves and we lose wireless in the network, so we need to just unplug it and plug it back in. So how can we convince the PDU to do that instead of us? Well, let's choose port number 3. We say that this is the IP camera. We enable auto ping. We enable outlet control from here. And we give the PDU the IP of the camera. Let's say the camera is on this IP, 192.168.0.150. So now what's going to do, the PDU is keep pinging this IP address. When it finds that is non-responsive, it's going to reboot it one time. Okay, it's going to reboot that port one time. And we're going to save it. And confirm. So now we have this possibility in which the PDU will take decisions by themselves. When a product is not responsive, it's going to reboot it. Obviously, you can change the parameters of the pinging and how many times this socket have to be rebooted until human presence is necessary to investigate deeper the problem. So if the problem is not solved, somebody physically needs to go there and check this problem. Okay. You can configure multiple users and you can give these users multiple rights, what sockets they can access or not. You can obviously read logs about what's going on with the product. And you have a more complex way of configuring in the setup, and you have multiple information about what port does the product have to respond at, what IP address does it have. Right now we have an automatic IP address, maybe you want a manual one, etc., etc. And as you go there, we have security features, because obviously this can be part of a very secure network. I mentioned this product can have cascade, and if you have multiple PDUs that connect to each other in a cascade, they will pop up here. Right now we don't have, so we have nothing to show right now. And you have rules. This is a new category that was implemented in our PDU. So you can add rules, and then you can say that, for instance, station 10 at outlet level, 10. When the current is over, let's say 10 amps, which can be dangerous, you can take the device and turn it off. So you can turn off, for instance, with this rule, you can turn off that device if the current is over 10 amps in order to protect the device, and you can add it. And then you can add more rules in order to protect better the device, in order to have a better electrical current distribution. You can add more rules. And last but not least, you have the PDU menu, where you can have upgrade the firmware, and you can also back up and obviously restore the configuration if something happened with the PDU and you replace it with a new one, or if you have multiple PDUs and you just want to duplicate its configuration to multiple devices. If you would like to add this PDU into a centralized software from which you can see more than just the PDUs, where you can see also the KVMs, for instance, you should definitely check the Aten CC2000 software, which aggregates a lot of Aten equipment in one interface with one management, where you can do all these impressive things that some I mentioned earlier. For instance, you can group the PDU port with the server, like the KVM, the video, the mouse and control, under one group. So you will have it on CC2000, and if you want to see the image of a server, you can see the image of the server, and if you want to reboot the server, you don't need to go to a different web page. You don't need to go to some other place. You just do it from CC2000. This equipment benefits from 3 years of warranty. You can actually go for more, but the minimum is 3 years of warranty. You have to keep between 0 and 40 degrees in your server room to benefit from this warranty. So it makes sense to install a sensor that's keeping you on track on at least on the temperature part. So there you have it. We're at the end of our video, where I have presented to you the latest PDU line of products from Aten, the Eco PDU PG line. These PDUs are meant to be installed in large server rooms. You will require the electrical circuit of 3-phase. So make sure when you buy the product that you have adequate electrical circuit. It will work on one phase like we have in our server room, but you have this annoying alarm and you cannot use the product at its maximum capabilities. I hope this video raised interest for our newer line of PDU, the PG series, and I'm inviting you to discover more by following the link below, where I'm going to put link to the Aten site and link to the actual product. There you will find the overview of the product, what's inside the box, the package content, also the diagram, manuals, datasheet, and also some brief specifications of the product. Thank you, see you at the next one.